political situation was going on. It says Mark Warner torches Elon Musk's Doge, and then John Kennedy responds by calling out USID. That if you don't know about USID, it was supposed to be this operating, I guess, government entity of its own nature that was supposed to deal with regulating the budget and sending out funds to actual needs and care, but they were actually spending it on whatever the fuck they wanted, and they were proclaiming that since they weren't a part of the actual governmental distribution system, that the money was theirs instead of, the American people's. They were just spending y'all tax money, well, our tax money on any goddamn thing. But yeah, that's what John Kennedy's going to respond with them, because they're trying to say Elon is such a threat and such a destructive person when it comes to the U.S. banking system. But every time he upholds y'all on showing bank records, y'all try to deny him, y'all hide them, and then when y'all do show them, it shows fraud and fraudulent activities and money being sent to who knows for God knows what. So it seems like every time they get exposed, their backlash is, well, he's a bad guy. He doesn't know how to run it. But he's showing y'all all the flaws and fraud that y'all have been a part of. So we're just going to get into a little 9-minute segment of it. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe if y'all want some more of these videos. But yeah, let's get into
it. I think it has been overused. I've been trying to push the banks to use the discount window more often before we add additional tools. That's out there. But the response is always, well, reputational risk. I do agree with Mr. Klein that banking is a reputation-based business. And if people start to lose confidence in that bank, they're going to move, whatever the regulator does or doesn't do. And that's why I got to ask, rhetorically at least, and perhaps to my colleagues, the United States dollar and the United States government and the full faith and credit are all build up the reputation of the United States of America. Now, if any of your institutions suddenly let somebody into your payment system that had no background in banking, that had no understanding of money flows, that suddenly gets an ability without any screening to look at all of your customers' personal banking information, I believe that would cause reputational risk.
How would that cause reputational risk when they literally followed the numbers, aka followed the money to where it wasn't supposed to go? $50 million was about to get sent to a different country for no reason. What?
And that is exactly what is happening in the United States Treasury at this moment in time. We don't know if the Doge crowd, there is one person that maybe has a clearance, the others, we have no freaking idea. But the ability, and we don't know for sure whether this is a read-only ability or read and write, which in past the legalese means that person could potentially go in and alter code or manipulate payments. I say to my Republican friends,
like y'all did.
Guys, can't we agree that the risk of the United States is worth protecting? In the idea that we've got people potentially manipulating our payment system that we have no idea. And we're going to sit silently by.
Do you know what you're saying right now, sir?
This isn't about efficiency. This is about the kind of payment system we're going to have in our country. If any financial institution let unscreened individuals into their payment book or into the private banking information about their customers, Mr. Klein, I believe their reputation would go straight to hell.
Absolutely, Senator. I worked in the Treasury Department for almost 4 years with a top secret clearance. I was going nowhere near that. And as you point out, this is not about efficiency. If you wanted to make the Treasury system more efficient, you would move it to a real-time payment network. Should have been done years ago. You wouldn't just sit there and take read access to look at every single payment.
But if it should have been done years ago under whose leadership? Because the Democrats held the office for a long, long time. So if you seen a flaw when Biden wasn't president, why haven't you said anything then? Because you were part of the fraud. This is the thing with these people. They'll sit there and say, well, it should have been done years ago under whose leadership, because the Democrats have had office for a while. So whose leadership and whose fault is it really? But now you have somebody cleaning up and showing you fraud and showing you paperwork of where money actually is going and what it's actually doing and what it could be actually going towards. All of a sudden, this person that doesn't understand banking, he shouldn't be allowed in the banking because it was a system flaw that should have been fixed years ago. We know that. So why didn't you get on top of it?
U.S. Treasury Department does. Any bank that did that to their customers would be in deep violation.
Well, it's also the fact that, the payment system in the Treasury, that's not where determinations are made about whether something is illicit or illegal. That is actually the subject matter expertise resides at the agency that has oversight.
Yeah.
I just say, come on, guys, this is about the full faith and credit of the United States. It is about our reputation in the world. You're getting the same calls that I'm getting. They don't identify whether they're Democrats or Republicans, but these programs that may or may not be arbitrarily eliminated by somebody that we don't even know who they are. Efficiency, sign me up. Turning over the payment system to people that we don't have any idea who they are or what their goal is or what their mission is, where we can't even get a full answer whether they simply have read capabilities or read and write. This is an enormous difference in those extra couple words. And I just feel, Mr. Chairman, this ought to be something that we as the banking committee that are looking at the Treasury, we ought to jointly want that. There's a 25-year-old there. I've read about him in the news. I don't know the individual. I don't have the slightest idea if they got security clearances.
Who cares if you know him or not? If he's doing his job, that's okay. These people want to sit here, kick, claw, and scream about reputation when yet alone your reputation shows that you have failed the banking system, that you are incompetent of your job. If these people are saying that this could have been fixed years ago and the Treasury doesn't really have say-so in what the banking committee, unless these two are co-joined by some sort of legal force, then they shouldn't have any oversight. No, because obviously when they don't have oversight, you guys scam. You guys are part of fraud, pyramid schemes. The banking systems are literally known for taking bribes, laundering money. And you talking about the only time you want interference is when there's an investigation going? No, nigga, after this, we need to see what's going on thoroughly throughout. And then you talking about some that's terror and for said it. No.
I will tell you this, Mr. Gannon, I was going to ask you about something on crypto that I'm not going to be able to get to. I look forward to working with Senator Loomis on how we promote innovation but don't overdo on the risk side. And I think we can do much better than we've done so far. But I have to just tell you, as somebody that was chair of the Intelligence Committee and now vice chair, and take that role incredibly important. The notion that somebody maybe arbitrarily put out these payment flows for something that looks kind of funky, but they don't have any idea what it is, will hurt our national security. Because candidly, and this is not classified, we fund things sometimes under a cover. We put out this information and the bad guys find out about this, people's lives are at risk. And I implore you all as experts, I implore my colleagues, this should not be a partisan issue. Let's get to the bottom of who these people are, what kind of clearances they have, and make sure that we don't put in further jeopardy the risk and reputation of the United States government, which I believe is under immediate and imminent attack from these unsanctioned individuals. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
But that lets you know right there that that play and that word use can be used both ways. Keep in mind, he said sometimes we fund things undercover. That can mean two things, whether you're trying to say it is an investigation or you're just trying to funnel money, laundering. Just like I say, they want to be part of an investigation, but they're already part of laundering as well. So come on now. Come on now, G. Let's get...
Thank you, Mr. Warner. Before I go to Senator Kennedy, I do want to respond to your comment there.
And we're talking about
The Treasury just put this out. Importantly, the ongoing review of Treasury systems is not resulting in the supervision or suspension or rejection of any payment instructions submitted to Treasury by other federal agencies across the government. In particular, the review at the Fiscal Services does not cause payments for obligations such as Social Security and Medicare to be delayed or rerouted. To be clear, the agency's responsibility is for making the payments always drives the payment process. Currently, Treasury staff members working with Tom Kraus, a Treasury employee, will have read-only access.
Mr. Chairman,
help some of
do you know, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to ask.
Sure.
So you are saying that it is read-only and not read and write.
That's what Treasury just put out.
And do you know the identity of these individuals? Mr. Kraus is a known quantity, and he's got security clearance. The other individuals who've been reported in the press, do they have security clearance, sir?
Right. He just told us they have.
I'll just say this. And
Do you want that individual without security clearance to have access to all that information?
I was clarifying a comment you made, number one. Number two, I would simply say that under the Biden administration, we had no clue who was doing what most of the time. Mr. Kennedy.
You just wanted to be a dickhead at that point. You just wanted to be a dickhead.
Senator Warner is a
Half your
reasonable
argument
man.
was, well, we don't know if they have
Everybody on
read
this
or
committee
read
knows
and write.
that.
He just told you in the document it says
And he's
they
a
just
good
have
man.
read only. So
And I understand he's interested in process, and I'm not saying that process isn't important. But if the United States of America has been taking taxpayer money and using it to produce a transgender opera in Colombia, then I want to know about it. And I'm glad to know about it. And it seems to me that that's the main issue with respect to all of this. And I look forward to talking further with my friend, Mr. Warner, about that. I mean, for 4 years, under President Biden, as was his right, the topic of discussion in Washington was who needs to pay more in taxes? Who needs to pay more in taxes? That's no longer the main question. The main question is now, as it should be in my judgment, what the hell happened to all the money? And we're going to find out.
exactly.
Now,
What the hell happened? 'Cause
I
these
need to
niggas
get
was
back
spending
to the
billions
subject.
and billions and billions
with the
of
exception of
dollars.
Mr.
What
Klein,
happened?
whose testimony I enjoyed, I understand his position. He wants to let the CFPB run America's banks. And I appreciate that perspective, but Mr. Klein, it's not going to happen in your natural lifetime or mine. Now, let me turn to the other gentleman. What I hear, Mr. McCauley, Mr. Ring, and
Damn. Fuck, he couldn't even get into his little shit. But make sure y'all check up on that John Kennedy. Check up on that John King. Hopefully y'all learn some or to see what these hypocrites is literally talking about. The nigga just told you they had read-only clearance, that underneath Biden, we didn't even know who the fuck was in charge. So while you sit there complaining about we don't know this and we don't know that, you were perfectly fine with it. Come on now, y'all. These niggas will literally complain about something this 2025 that they should have fixed in 2015 or 2014. These niggas, bro, these niggas had years, and now all of a sudden they want to, well, I, Father, family, I'm see y'all next one, y'all.